All right, good morning, everybody. The time now is 9 o'clock. We are missing a lot of people still, so I'm going to wait a couple more minutes as people trickle in. So, good morning, Melanie, Donisha, Lewis, Jasmine. Good morning, Monique. Good morning, Ahmad. Good morning, Elvis. So, we'll wait 2 more minutes to give people a little bit more time to come. So, I know how y'all are this morning. So, we got 12 people here so far. So it's 29 people here. We got 13. So good morning, Adamari. Good morning, Dr. Harvey. How you doing today? Good morning. You gotta unmute your mic. So if you hit the little microphone button, and then it'll unmute if you want to speak. Good morning, Darnisha. Good morning, Elvis, Jasmine, Lewis, Maria, Melanie, Monique. Good morning. All right, so I'm getting ready to take attendance. So Danisha is here. Good morning. Melanie is here. Good morning. Adamari is here. Good morning. Jasmine is here. Good morning. Monique is here. Good morning. Maria is here. Buenos dias, Maria and Louis. Elvis is here. Jersey is here. Good morning, Jersey. Adamari is here. Good morning. Ahmad is here. Good morning. We got Elvis, Jasmine, Jersey, Louis. All right, so I guess some people are gonna be tardy today, so we'll take it as we are. All right. All right, so I want to ask you all in the chat, right, on a scale of 1 through 10, right, with one being the lowest and 10 being the highest. How do you all feel right now? So I'm gonna put this in Spanish in the chat too. Miss Gonzalez is not here today, so I don't have my translator today, but I did put it in the chat. So on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how you all feeling today. So thank you, Danisha, for starting us off. So you said you were a 7. All right, Melanie said a 7.5. Jersey said a 6. All right, Daniel said a 6. Lewis said a 6. Lewis said a 7. I'm sorry. Elvis said 7. All right, so that's good. Like normally, Ahmad, I was just gonna say normally, I see some ones and twos, and I got 1, 3. So I hope you feel better throughout the day as far as like getting, motivated for school today. All right, so thank you, for sharing that out. All right, so I'm going to project on the screen what we're covering today. So today we still on the topic of expenses, right? So remember we are in our business financials unit. All right, so you guys are going to be filling out your business plan template soon. And let me just go with a business plan template real quick for a second. All right, so in the business plan template, as you can see, if you see on the screen, Maria says she's a 6. Okay, so if you scroll down to uh page 3 of the business plan template, right? So pages 3 to 4 of the business plan template is the financial information and operations for your business. We already covered the definition of one unit, which is section 3.1. So you all will be filling this in. We already covered section 3.2, which is the business model. So you all know which business model that you're going with. It's either pay per download, freemium, virtual goods, ad based, or subscription. All right. And then you also should be able to explain why that business model is the best model for your business idea. Israel, good morning. Thank you for joining our class today. Uh, So right now I'm just going over like certain parts of the business plan template. All right, as far as the economics of one unit. All right, so you all know how to do the economics of one unit now, which all you're doing is just basically find a contribution margin and determine how much you're going to sell your product or service for. Now, now today will help you fill out section 3.4 and 3.5 of knowing your fixed expenses for the first month. All right, and then also the income statement for your first year operations. Good morning, Stephanie. Thank you for coming to class today. Right now, I'm just going over the business plan template so you can look at it on the screen. If you can see it on the screen. All right. Now, for the income statement, you all actually have to fill out that part too. So we're gonna talk about that too. So that's why we're going over these lessons. So you'll be able to fill out section 3 of this business plan template. Okay. All right. So let me go back to the slideshow that I'm projecting today. All right. So we're gonna talk about the different expenses. All right. So the other day I had you all do the do now. All right. And in the do now, all right, you had to read about Marie's app on the handout, one, and then identify the business model and the unit of sale. And then you also had to label each cost as a startup, a variable, or a fixed cost. All right. So those are two things that you had to do on that activity. All right. So I'm actually going to project it on the screen. Um, I'm gonna actually use Melanie. So Melanie, I'm gonna pull yours up, and then I'm gonna basically have you go over it for us, to make sure that our answers were correct. All right. So just in case, so let me give me a second to pull it up. So I'm pulling up expense handout one. Melanie, I'm pulling yours up. So give me 1 second. Let me pull it up on my screen, and then we
If you
will.
want, I can screen share it.
I have it on mine, so that way we won't have to. All right. So I'm going. Can y'all everybody see it on the screen now? All right, Melanie, can you read the can you read the the app about
Yeah.
Maria's app? Thank you.
Maria has created an application in which users can upload outfits they want to wear to an online community, and members will vote up or down on the outfit. Maria spent $400 to develop the application and 100 in market research prior to development. Members pay an annual membership fee. Members pay $2 per download the application and an annual fee of $30 to be part of the community. Apple iStore charges 30% of the app fee, but does not collect all on the members fee on the membership fee. Marie spends $30 per month to advertise on Facebook and local fashion blogs. Each member receives a monthly print newsletter to their home, which costs Marie 50 cents to print and $1 to mail. Members typically purchase memberships 1 year at a time.
All right. So real quick, let's talk about one thing. So anything in the directions, right? It said read about Marie's app. So thank you, Melanie, for reading it. Now the first part of it says identify the business model and a unit of sale. So can I get you all to tell me to identify? So what is the business model for Marie's application? Can you all respond in the chat? Go ahead, respond in the chat. What is the business model for Marie's application? Or somebody can turn their mic on and say it out loud. So I'm giving you all time to type it in the chat, but you can also talk on the mic. All right. So Daniel said pay per download. All right. So that is one of the business models, right? It's pay per download. Sorry, Melly, I'm marking yours up. So pay per download, right? Which cost is what? How much does the pay per download cost?
It cost $2.
All right, $2. Thank you. And Donisha responded too. So thank you, Melanie and Donisha, for letting me know $2. All right. Does anybody see any other business models in terms of that we can identify based on Marie's application?
Wait, can you repeat that again? My bad.
Okay. All right. So my question is, can anybody identify any other business models that we can identify from Maria's application. I kind of gave y'all a hint on the screen, so if you see it.
The
Is one
annual
of them
fee.
advertising when they with the ad?
All right, so ad, okay, well, not necessarily ads. That is a part of it, but think about what I got. Think about what I got.
The annual fee.
All right, the annual fee, and so that's what that falls under what the what kind of model was that? The subscription model. All right, so the two models that Marie has for her application business, right, is the pay per download, so users pay $2, and then also the subscription model, which they pay $30 a month for. All right, so those are the two models that she's using. All right, now. So now we answered the first part, right? And then we also have to identify the unit of sale, right? So the unit of sale is how much he charged for the subscription model and the download fee. So that's a total of what? You can respond in the chat or turn your mic on and talk, whichever one works. So the unit of sale is going to be these two numbers added together, the pay per download model and the subscription model. That'll be her unit of sale. So that's how much she charges. So Arthur, I just see you. I saw you just join us, and Michael, I saw you just joined us. Good morning, or whatever. Let me do another double check through the attendance real quick, and then I'll jump right back into the lesson. I just want to make sure that I have marked everybody as present that's here. Julia, good morning. I didn't mark you here, so thank you for coming to class today. All right. All right, so I'll just double check the attendance. We good on that. All right, so the unit of sale is gonna be $32. All right, so you adding up the subscription fee, which is $30, right? And they pay that annually, so that's for the whole year plus the $2. So $32 will be the unit of sale. So we just answered that part. Now let's go down to the chart of let's go to the chart of what am I calling it? Let's go down to the chart right here where you breaking up the cost, whether you identifying the cost as either a startup cost, a fixed cost, or a variable cost. So Melanie, do you want to Ahmad, do you want to take over on this one, explaining the startup cost, the fixed cost, and the variable cost?
Um, sure. Sorry if I sound a little sick, Mike.
It's okay. I know it's that time of the year where we got the sniffles and stuff, so it's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just telling us what the startup costs are, the fixed costs, and the variable costs.
Okay. Um. hold So the costs are $4 to develop the app and $100 for market reach. And then for the fixed $30 for $30 Facebook a month, and a $30 annual fee. And then for the variable cost, it's $2 per download, 50 cents to print, $1 to mail, and 30% Apple iStore charges.
All right. Thank you, Amon, for identifying the cost. So if you didn't get this in the do now, you should have this. I know we kind of went over it 2 times, but that way I can make sure that you all have the correct answers because we model it how to do this 2 times. So when you're doing it for your own business, you will know how to do this. Okay. So that's our whole point of doing this activity. So thank you, Amon, for explaining that to us. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint, right? So we did that now. Sorry, y'all. Let me move this little exit sign out the way. All right. All right, so this is what we're doing today. So the whole objective of today, right, is to define and describe the type of costs associated with starting and growing a web or app-based business. So your business either is going to be a web-based business or app-based business. You are already started designing your websites on Weebly. All right. So with you all designing your websites on Weebly, you already kind of got like a web-based business. All right. Once we finish like our business plan template, then we'll start back working on our websites on Weebly. Weebly already automatically converts your web website into an using Weebly is it automatically optimize your phone for mobile, your app or your website for mobile devices. So that's totally cool. All right, so we'll discuss the cost of business incurs. We'll also identify research needs to get accurate costs and estimates, and we'll also be able to identify the expenses you will incur in developing and running your business. All right. So right now, I need you all to make sure that you have these terms written down. All right. So just to go over the vocabulary for today's lesson that we've been talking about, just to make sure that you all got it. So please write these terms down in your notebook. So remember, startup costs is a one-time expense necessary to get the business running before any revenue is generated. Variable cost is an expense incurred only with the production of a service or product. The fixed cost is an expense incurred regardless of the sales of a product or service. Burn rate, right, is how quickly you spend cash before generating revenue to cover expenses. All right, so you know how y'all use the word splurge, like that's just you splurging, right? You all right, I brought in this much money, let me go splurge and spend all this money. Runway is the period of time you are out of cash. All right, so you know how y'all say y'all broke. All right, that's in business terms we say runway. All right, so it's the period of time you are out of cash, like meaning you have no cash flow coming in. You probably using credit cards and stuff, which is not good. All right, if you can't pay it, then don't spend it. So take about 2 minutes to write these terms. So you should already have these terms written down, but some people wasn't here when I talked about burn rate and runway. All right, so generally, so most likely, them the only two terms that you should be writing down. So I'll give you 2 minutes. It's 9:17. So at 9:19, I'm going to switch the slide. So please make sure you have these terms written down. If you have all the terms written down, please type done in the chat, and in that way, I know that you have them done. Or you know what? Use the raise your hand feature. So if you have finished all the vocabulary, please press the raise your hand feature so I can check. Leave it up. Don't lower your hand yet. All right, because I'm making a little mental note. Some people didn't use the raise your hand feature. Thank you, Donisha, Ahmad, Melanie. Some other people might have done it, but it's not okay. All right. So Ahmad, Jersey, Donisha, Melanie, Jasmine, Daniel. Thank you. So Elvis, are you done writing down all the terms? Israel, have you written down all the terms? Make sure you keep the raise your hand feature up because I'm trying to. Thank you, Lewis. Destiny, thank you. All right, thank you, Julia. All right, okay, cool. All right, so thank you for raising your hand so I can know who all has done that step so far. So another minute, and I'm gonna switch the slides. I'm going to press it. I'm gonna put this presentation in the chat for you all, so that way some people it'll take you a little longer time to write, and that's totally fine. So you will have access to it, so you can just go to the slide that we're on. Uh, what slide are we on? Let me see. So you can go to slide 4. I'm sorry, I messed it up. Go to slide 4, and then we'll continue on. So I'm gonna leave it on for one more minute. Please write down the terms in your notebook. All right. All right. So when you all start filling out that section of your business plan template, and let me go to it right now. Um, when you all start filling out the different portions of your business plan template, so you see I have it broadcast on the screen. All right, when you start filling out your fixed expenses for 1 month, your income statement for the first year operation. All right, well, you got to put in your variable costs, your revenue, your fixed operating expenses, all right, your pre-tax profit and all that stuff. All right. When you put in that information, all right, you have to analyze your costs. All right. So again, when you first start doing like starting up a business, you need to make sure you review your startup costs to determine what is necessary and what isn't necessary. When you want to review fixed costs to determine what is and what isn't, you need to consolidate your tasks and related expenses. All right. And then when you're doing that, right, you can set up a Google Doc where you have critical, necessary, convenient, and then not essential. All right. And you need to make sure that your priorities match, like they are aligned as far as like which costs are you going to, focus on as far as when you're doing your fixed costs and your startup costs. Okay, because you want to make sure that you're not spending too much money that you don't have. Okay, so a good way to help you decide what isn't important is to prioritize the importance of each expense. All right, so can you consolidate tasks so that the costs for each are shared? So make sure that putting it into a categorizing as critical, necessary, convenient, or not essential. Okay. Now, when we projecting cost timelines, all right, you have to approximate how much cash the business will need to operate without generating any revenue. So remember, when you first starting up a business, you want to have like money to the side, right? You want to make sure you're able to pay your rent. All right, you want to make sure you got the money, of course, to buy your startup cost materials. All right, and then also remember, as start up your business, you're gonna be accumulating utilities and stuff. All right, or you probably gonna start out with some employees. You might not be making no money yet, but you got to pay salaries and all that stuff. All right, you got to pay the little payroll department, all those different things. So you want to make projections over different periods of time. So the different periods of time is 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. All right. So when you filling out your business plan template, this is going to help you create a roadmap that prioritizes the most important business goals to achieve in order to become profitable. So remember, everybody who's in business is in business to make a profit. If you are not making a profit, then you're not going to be in business long, or you shouldn't be in business. So remember, our whole point of being in business is to make a profit. So revenue generation can reduce the burn rate, but the business might still not be profitable. So you got to make sure that your remember we talked about the unit of sale, right? You know how in restaurants, right? So they trying to raise minimum wage up around the whole country to $15 per hour. So that means that menu prices at restaurants is gonna go up. That means costs that when you go to like all these different stores, they're gonna be raising their prices up because guess what? They're gonna have to spend some of that money on raising payroll, or they might have to lay people off. So it can go both ways. But you also make sure you have to make some projections, okay, to make sure that you're making a profit. So that's why they have to raise prices on stuff because they have to still ensure they're profitable and able to cover all their fixed expenses like the salaries, insurance, and paying the bills and stuff for the business. All right. And then you also make projections on different growth rate projections for different time periods. So you got the 3 months, the 6 months, and the 12 months. All right. So with your business, you're gonna have to identify for the 1 month period, right? I didn't put the 3 month, the 6 months, but on the business plan template, I have you all doing for my course. All right, you're only gonna do it for 1 month, okay? But I know our stuff is fictitious, but if you was in the real world, you would stick to the projections of 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. Okay. Now, all right. So we did a house bites case study, right? Where we read the article about house bites on handout one. All right. So everybody go ahead and pull up that house hand. It's in the expense handout one. I'm going to post it in the chat so y'all can click on it. Well, actually, I'm not going to post it in the chat so y'all can click on it. I'm actually going to just pull up somebody random that turned it in. So we on the expense handout one. So if you can pull up, open up the classwork tab, please. I'm gonna demonstrate how y'all do that, right? So because some people probably still don't know that step. Uh, Click on a tab and open up expense handout one. Y'all can lower y'all hands, just in case I ask another question, which required. So go ahead, lower your hands. Maria, Maria, go ahead, lower your hand, please. All right, so going to expense handout one. Does anybody want to volunteer to present their house bites case study? You can respond in the chat or turn your mic on to talk.
I presented, but I don't know if I got it right.
All right, let's see. All right, thank you for stepping it up to and share it out. So, do you want me to present yours or do you want
I want you to do it.
All right, okay, I'll present it for you so that way I know y'all have internet issues, so I'll present it for you. So thank you for stepping it up to let me know. All right, so this is Donisha's expense handouts. Donisha, I don't know if you want to read it. No, this it's a lot to read. So never mind. We'll just go over the answers. Okay. Now you know what? I guess we should read this. 927.
I can read it then.
All right, go ahead. Thank you. It should only take like 2 minutes, so it's good.
Okay. Um, House Bites, the London-based startup that enabled independent chefs to sell home-cooked meals to customers as an alternative to takeout food ordered from a restaurant, has shut down and is preparing to pivot. House Bites was started in 2010 as a peer-to-peer dining platform. It then pivoted to become an Airbnb for takeout, letting people order food prepared and cooked by vetted home chefs as a better alternative to traditional takeout services. The service appeared to prove popular amongst users and the chefs that powered the platform. Though we were always a little skeptical about its ability to scale, the cost of vetting chefs and dealing with the customer service side of something like House Bites was much higher than the company's founders projected. Simon Proctor, the company's CEO, seems to confirm that the scale was an issue, or at least the time at the time that it would take, or at least the time, yeah, that it would take to reach the scale. Venture capitalists didn't view the startup as a scalable, well-based business because of its high cost of goods. So, because of the problem with their business of takeaway, with their business model, it was impossible for the founders to raise more money and extend their runway. Our version of takeaway was always a difficult model, and we know many outsiders were always curious how it could scale. Unfortunately, we had a slog ahead, a few more years to break even at a cost of a couple of million. We'd become more of a restaurant rather than tech business, so venture capital was not an option for us. To find other revenue streams, House Bites launched a new feature called House Bites Fresh a few months ago. The new feature was a recipe kit service that sent subscribers a box of freshly chopped ingredients accompanied by a recipe card so that they can prepare a freshly cooked meal at home. House Bites understands that it is scalable subscription. It's the scalable subscription model in some form or another that points to the future of our business, of the business.
All right, thank you, Donisha, for reading that. All right, so let's kind of go over some of what you all what she said. So she's all right. So what was the original problem the business was trying to solve? So from
They was about to close down, right?
all right, so but what was the original problem? Like what happened first that like to what made them even come up with the business?
Because people want to. Well, I put the problem that they're trying to solve is having meals made from chefs because that's what most users like.
All right, another problem with the scale because they doubted the time. All right, so you kind of answer number one and number two in your first answer. All right, so the original problem, right, was the original problem the business was trying to solve, right? So if I'm writing this out, I'm gonna use the stem of the question, and I like how you highlighted as you was reading through the article, right? So that means you can go back and see, all right, this is where I got that answer from. That's why I do mines in different colors. All right, so like for each answer, I would have highlighted in a different color, whatever. But you don't have to do that. That's just the way I would have done it. All right. So you did saw answer the first question. You said what was the original problem the business was trying to solve? So the original problem the business was trying to solve was people not having an option for home cooked meals in the fast food industry, right? So you go to fast food restaurants. Realistically, you know that it's like unhealthy food, right? So and it's not home cooked stuff, right? It's like commercially made products with a lot of starch and all that type of stuff. All right. So that was the original problem the business was trying to solve. Now, number two, it said what challenges did the business encounter? So, um, and Donisha, I'm gonna read yours. All right. It stated that investors didn't view the startup as scalable, web-based business because of its high cost of goods sold and due to the problems with their business model. It was impossible for the founders to raise more money and extend their runway. So good job at that. All right. So basically, the challenge was they couldn't secure investors to be able to scale the business to where they can, mass produce the product. Okay. And then it also talked about another thing, like they couldn't vet enough chefs to even run the business, right? Because remember, you can't just hire random chefs like working for your business. You got to make sure that they're qualified and that they're following proper safety protocols. You got to make sure they got their food handler license, all that different type of stuff. So they didn't have the manpower to, vet all those chefs and make sure, like, all right, well, what are you going to be cooking? All right, so realistically thinking about all that stuff. Now, number three said, why was their initial projections on the cost so far from reality? All right. And then Donisha, you did answer this one. I kind of talked about it too, getting a little bit ahead of myself. But they underestimated the cost of vetting chefs and dealing with the customer service side of things, right? It was too expensive. So remember, they didn't have the investors like, nah, we don't see how y'all gonna do this. Okay. So when whatever bitch you gotta come up with, you gotta make sure that it's scalable, making sure that you can produce stuff without it costing too much money, because then you're not gonna be able to keep yourself in business. You're gonna have a lot of runway, right? You're gonna have a lot of runway costs being broke. All right. So number four, all right. Um, it said, what does it mean to apply the lean concepts to your financials? So remember, the lean concepts just making sure that you're following like some type of uh protocol, like that build, measure, learn process, right? Danisha, I do like your answer that you put. You said the lean concepts are maximizing customer value to minimizing waste. And you said I feel that this should be added to financials so you can prepare for the price of things. So remember, going back to the slide, right? Of analyzing your costs, right? So I'm gonna go back to this slide share right here, analyzing your costs. So if you able to align your priorities, right, and then make sure it's critical, what's necessary, convenient, and not essential, you can make sure that you're not spending too much money on your business on things, what I'm saying, that you making sure you're using your resources wisely. Okay. So that's all that comes down to. And then also it helps you project your cost timelines. All right. So some startup costs will vary over time. Some fixed costs will vary over time. All right. And then your variable costs will vary over time. Right. So if you have some type of process for knowing how much revenue you will generate, then you can make projections for growth. All right. To grow your business and make sure at the end of the day that you're making a profit. Okay. So that's why that's very important. Now, then the last question said, "How is resourcefulness?" And let me go back to the slide, right? Because I was presenting Darnisha's. And thank you for letting us use yours, Darnisha. It say number five said, "How is resourcefulness utilized in considering your expenses?" All right, so resourcefulness. Darnisha said
I ain't get
resourceful.
that one.
Oh, you didn't get this one.
No, that's the one I struggle with.
All right, let me just read your answer and I'll see if it makes sense. So, how is resourcefulness utilized in considering your expenses? So, resourcefulness is utilized in considering your expenses because you have to come up with things and drafts before actually going forward with it. All right. So, I mean, that's true or whatever, but you need to know what you're making a profit and where it's coming from to see how much you're getting exactly in order to plan out how much you spend and how much you can save. All right, so that's why it's important to like make sure you're utilizing your resources carefully. All right, so it all comes down to how you budget stuff. Okay, so I didn't get to this slide yet to actually tell you all about resourcefulness, right? So it say how does it? I'm sorry, what does it mean to apply lean concepts to your financials? All right, and then how is resourcefulness you utilize in considering your expenses? So if you think about the concepts of wants and needs in our early classes, right? So remember in the beginning of the school year, right? In the beginning of the school year, we talked about wants and needs. All right. Business expenses generally increase as the business scales. So the more you expand your business, right? Guess what? Your business expenses is going to increase. Okay. So business expenses generally increase as the business scale because the revenue is scaling as well. So as a startup, your stakeholders in the market expect you to incur a few expenses as possible. All right. So you want to make sure that you're not using too much money, right? You want to make sure that you're not tapping into that profit. Okay. Because remember, when you're in a business, right? If you always think like, all right, I'm in the business to make a profit, then you will know how to manage your resources. All right. This may mean that you might have to sacrifice some things you would like to have, those that make things easier. All right. And replace them with less desirable but functional alternatives to save money. All right. Remember, when you are considering your expenses, that you should be resourceful as possible. So you know how some places they might use like cheaper like if you all right, so if you go to certain restaurants, right? You get in there, the food is good, but if you look at like the decor and all that stuff of the place, right? They might be using cheaper products, all right, for you to sit on and all those type of things. So they probably cut costs on the decor for the restaurant, right? Instead of making it look real fancy and stuff, they might be using cheaper plates, cheaper silverware, cheaper cups, things like that, because they want to make sure that they using their resources wisely so they can still make a profit at the end of the day. All right. So the second handout, expense handout too. All right. I want you identifying expenses. I want you all to pull that up, right? Does anybody want to volunteer to share theirs? Can I get a volunteer? I'm checking the chat. So if you want to volunteer, you can turn your mic on and speak, or you can share it out in the chat.
Wait, which one is this?
This is a expense handout too. So I'm gonna
You could use man.
okay.
I don't know if it's right
Does
though. Once
anybody else?
again.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you for being brave to share yours out. All right. Does anybody else before I share Donisha? Does anybody else want to volunteer there to show their expense handout too? Anybody? Come on, y'all. Don't be scared. Like, oops, I'm sharing mine. I don't want to share mine. All right, I'm kind of not gonna go over all these. Well, I'm because we only have it's 9:38, right? We get out of here at 9:45. So I don't want to spend a lot of time reading it. Um, you know what? Because we are gonna run out of time. Let me just go over the independent work and then we'll come back to because I feel like we already did this activity with the PDN, right? So I'm a pause from that because you all I see some people have started on it, whatever. I don't want to use a lot of time like reading it and going over it. We'll have more time for that later. All right. So the independent work, right? So this is what you're gonna do tomorrow, and I want to talk about it today real quick. All right. So you're gonna identify the expenses for your business idea, all right, or for your business plan. So everybody in here has their business plan. Now I want you to start thinking about the expenses that you're going to incur as far as starting up your business. So what are going to be your startup costs, right? What are going to be your variable costs, right? What are going to be your fixed costs? All right, so you're going to consider your business and the expenses you identified over the past few lessons. So the couple lessons that we have done, you all should have been taking a side note of the expenses that your business will have. All right. I'm gonna have you all create a Google spreadsheet. We're not gonna do it today because I'm gonna actually have y'all do it actual business plan template because you will eventually have to transfer it to the Google spreadsheet into the business plan template. But we might as well start directly into the business plan template. All right. So I want you to identify the different expenses as either a fix, a variable, or a startup cost, just like we did in the PDN. just like in a house bites activity, right? And just like in the expense handouts too, right? I'm gonna just show you all that real quick because that's what essentially how I want you all to look, okay? So you all would have written your stuff out, and then you would have made a Google spreadsheet of the difference. So you will make a chart like this, okay? And this is already on the business plan template, so you don't have to worry about doing it. That's what I'm saying. On a separate sheet, you can write it down, and then you could just transfer it on to the business plan template. But you need to identify your startup expenses, your fixed expenses, and your variable expenses. Okay, so those are the three different expenses that we're working with in this class. Okay, so once you identify those expenses, all right, you might have to do some research the actual cost. All right. So I know our businesses are fictitious in this class, right? But I still want you all to do some research. All right. So if you got a restaurant, right, you got to buy a refrigerator. I want you to actually go online and see the cost of a refrigerator. If you are renting a space for your business, I want you to actually go online and see how much rent costs for these businesses. All right. Because when you all graduate from high school, some of you all might say, "Oh, I really want to start my business. All right, I really want to launch this," right? You will have that paperwork. You will also have the necessary research knowledge to do it yourself. Okay. All right. So you got to research everything that you list on that paper, right, or on your little spreadsheet or in your business plan template. I want you to have to done the research. All right. So remember, I kind of know how much stuff costs or whatever, like in my 31 years of experience of existence. So do not put a cost on there that doesn't make sense because I'm gonna know like, hey, you just made that number up at the top of your head. All right. So make sure that saving those websites as well. Like just put the link, right? I'm not asking you to like write down, just put the link where you got the costs from. So that way if I don't believe it, then you can say, hey, this is my the link to where I got that information from. All right. That just making sure I want to hold y'all accountable for doing the research. Also, do a 3 month, a 6 month, and a 9 month analysis to determine your runway. Okay. So the 3, the 6, and the 9 month analysis to determine your runway. All right. So if you go back to where runway is, right? Runway is the period of time you are out of cash, meaning that you have no money coming in. All right. So you need to do an analysis of that. All right. And then we have to do this a little bit later because we don't have enough time. So we only got 3 more minutes of class left. But before I end class, I want to remind you all what we did today, right? We define and describe the type of costs associated with starting, running, and growing a business. So you got your startup costs, your fixed costs, your variable costs, all right. And then you learn how to classify the cost of startup, variable, or fixed. So thank you, Donisha, for sharing. Thank you, Melanie, for sharing. Thank you, Ahmad, for sharing. All right, for helping us, lead the way on these lessons. So I definitely appreciate that. All right. Tomorrow, let me just talk about what's so tomorrow. Remember all four worksheets. So the categories of business expenses, assignment is due. All right, the cost handouts is due. The expense handout 1 and 2 is due. Okay, so all these four worksheets are due on tomorrow by 11:59 p.m. Okay, so I'm not accepting any late work. So I gave y'all plenty of class time to work on it. All right, I even put y'all in different breakout room groups for you all to, the work on it together, right? So y'all had a collaboration aspect. Some of you all chose not to participate in the breakout rooms for whatever reason, right? I said I wasn't gonna beg y'all to like participate, but the people who did, I really appreciate you for helping your class members out. All right. Louis and Maria, sorry, Miss Gonzalez went here today to help translate some stuff, but I'll make sure that tomorrow that she go over everything with you all to make sure that y'all good. But I do see that Louis and Maria have turned in their assignments, so that's good too. So I appreciate that. All right. So the time now is 9:44. I want to use the last minute class. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? If you have, does anybody have any questions? All right. Thank you, Donisha. Thank you, Ahmad. All right. So other than that, nobody have any questions. Y'all are free to log off. Everybody have a good day. Thank you, Dr. Harvey, for watching our lesson today. We appreciate you for joining our class today. I'm just doing a attendance scan one last time. So, all right, it seems like everybody is off. All right, Israel, you free to go. Elvis, you free to go. Arthur, you free to go. Maria. All right, thank you for joining us, Dr. Harvey. I got 5 minutes in between my next class, so I will send you an email after this class. You got to hit the mic because I can't hear you speaking.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, can you do me a favor and send? I can't open up Google Docs for that lesson plan.
Oh,
Can
it's
you send
probably
me
because it's okay. I'm gonna send it to you in a separate
send it to me as a
form.
Word document?
Okay, okay,
That
I will.
that was a really I hope we have a few minutes. That was a really good lesson. I really enjoyed it. Your kids are in. What you do? Bribe them?
No, I don't have to bribe for them. Nah, nah. This how it is every day, pretty much.
They are really participating. They really into it. Now, what grade are these students?
These are 12th grade seniors.
Oh, okay. Is this
So
some? Is this more like a life skills class?
no, it's an entrepreneurship class.
Okay.
So I teach them. I basically we they came up with a business idea in the beginning of the school year. Then we turned that business idea into like I did lessons, and they basically have to fill out the template, and then they make an app and a website for that business idea, and then they like make like business cards, flyers, and all those things. So they basically have a fully run business by the end of the year. So by May 31st, I know I'll be done student teaching by then, but May 31st they'll be done with the website, the business plan template, and then we supposed to have an expo at the end of the school year where I invite like business. I basically invite banks in, and then the Nifty organization bring in people too. And
Oh,
they,
you are really hands on.
oh yeah, yes. So
Okay,
they,
so will you be there for the rest of the school year, or when your student teaching ends, you leave?
no, I'm here for for the whole school year.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Yes.
I'm not gonna keep you any longer. Just send me a copy of that lesson plan, and Mr. Patterson, you are really doing a great job.
Oh, thank you,
I
thank you.
like watching you teach. I like that.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, and have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right, bye bye. How do I get out of here? Do, 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 do. I don't know how to get out of here. Okay.